Lunyee sent me this tabletop router here, and now I've got some bigger 40 by 40 tabletop routers, but those are primarily for wood. You can do aluminum on them, but this particular machine is just built like a tank so that it can handle the extra stress. Now, with that being said, that means that we should be able to push this machine and get our jobs done a lot quicker than we can on one of those, ones that were mainly designed for wood. Now, I've been testing this for about a week, and it comes with two clamps. And now you could probably hold your stuff down, but I went ahead and 3D print some extra ones. But these are really nice clamps, and I'm probably going to see about ordering some more. Now, it did come with a few router bits, but my opinion is buy a bunch of them, and that way you can do some testing. So as you can see, I definitely have been putting this to the limit to see just how far it will go. And if you're not familiar with these, this right here has a full 700, 800 watt spindle. Basically, it's a palm router, but the thing will go like 30,000 RPMs. It's a variable speed, but I've been running it around 3. That's, it's not the speed that we're trying to get so much as the power. I mean, because I can put my tachometer on this and set it at about 800 RPMs and then push it almost to it's breaking the router bits. And I'm only dropping maybe 100, 200 RPM. So I'm still right there at the 18,000 RPM. Another thing, this here has ball bearing or ball screws, which are your most accurate type of movement. And then along the bottom here, we have like a double linear rail. Everything is double linear rail. And then they have those ball spindles that are for our movement up and down, side to side. It's got, a fairly good size stepper motors. There's definitely no issue with power. All right, so speaking of power, this is the power supply. It's plugged in, but then our router spindle also has to be plugged in separately. It would have been nice if with this little box right here, they would have made a plug to where we could have jumped power from the cord coming in there. Just had another one of these like a male plug where there's a female, and then that way, we could have a plug on here, and then that could just plug in there. Now, it does have your fittings for a 48 volt spindle. That's the ones that a lot of the desktop comes with. But again, this is the more powerful version. That's why we've got the big spindle up there. Probably could, rig up a relay, and probably going to do that. It also has a controller for lasers. And most importantly, it has our Z-axis probe. And talking about the Z-axis probe. So I haven't taken this off of the bed yet. It's still bolted down. And I'll show me cutting this out. And that way you can see the real time. But this blue underneath here, that is a blue sticker that comes on this metal. So this is what I really love about having this machine is these brackets are going to be for a plasma machine that I'm building, and it's going to have stepper motors bolted to it. Everything has to be exact, because if it's not exact, it's not going to run parallel. And just like this, we want it to be perfectly level, and that way we can get these perfect cuts. When I build the plasma table, it has to be exactly flat 100%. So I used the machine to drill these 1/4 inch and 3/8 holes, and then I went ahead and had it start running. I'm running at 1500 millimeters a minute, and as you see, it was like perfect in the beginning, and then the chips started sticking, which tells me that I'm either going too slow or too deep. It's heating up. So I did reach up there, and I was on 3 and kind of kicked back to just above 2. Try to slow down the spindle a little bit to see if that would help lower some of the heat. But even with this, we're going, I think it was a 0.5 millimeter depth. And this part took 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes to drill all the holes and cut the part itself out. Some of the bigger YouTubers that do a lot of these reviews were showing this machine as doing 0.2 millimeters depth and like 200 millimeters speed feed. And I used those same settings, and it was taking me 45 minutes, an hour to cut these parts out. And by going ahead and increasing that speed up, like I say, I went from 45 minutes to 6 minutes on the parts. So that definitely makes this a whole lot more usable, in my opinion, because I'm all about speed. And now I'm still using the full 1/8" bit. And now that I'm through testing this, I will be going over to those half-inch or quarter-inch bits that are tapered down to a 1/8". And that way those will help dissipate the heat a lot better, and hopefully I'll be able to even run maybe a little bit faster speeds. I mean, overall, the wire management, like right here, the wires are behind this little cover, which is machined into the bracket here. And most all of the original wiring has really good wire management. However, they don't have anything here for the Z-axis. It would have been nice had they have some sort of, I'll probably print some little retainer or something that I can just stick this up here with, along with the wrenches for taking this collet on and off. Speaking of which, now it only comes with the 1/8" bit and the 8" collet, but it is one of our standard ER11 collets. And you can get a 1/4" collet, and then you're able to use 1/4" bits, which if you're not trying to cut out these small holes, probably can get a lot better speeds. And I'm looking forward to really pushing this machine with some 1/4" bits. Now, unfortunately, my bed right here was bent down or something, maybe got caught in shipping, but I had to take a spool board bit and go around it and flatten off this tray here, because if I didn't, every time it wouldn't cut all the way through here. Because like I say, you can see right here, I just barely came down, but then over on this side, I'm down almost 1 millimeter. But it's aluminum, just a little spool board bit, and able to get that deck perfectly flat. I mean, if I wanted to, I probably could have put a board on here, but these are 20 by 100 extrusions. If they ever get chewed up too much, not very expensive to have those replaced. However, with this right here, I'm really not having any issues because, like I said, the machine's so accurate, it's cutting all the way through, but it's not cutting into my spool board here. So I didn't spend a lot of time on wood, but again, I mean, you can see here, these parts are still attached to the plastic. This was, you can see the metal kind of attached here. That's where I was going too slow, and so the metal starts sticking up on there. Definitely was getting better at it. You know, these are some little brackets, and then we're going to need to bend them at a 90, so I got slots cut in there. But you know, these are starting to look a lot better. And then I moved up to some 1/4". And now this, I haven't done anything to these plates here. See if I can get over here and we can really see that edge. I mean, that's the way it came off the machine. I haven't did anything. I haven't, you know, I've got like a hole reamer. Sometimes I'll run across the edges if it has where it's welded on. But this one here, you know, nice and smooth, almost polished even. Even the holes in here are nice and smooth. So definitely can get some really good cuts out of it. But whenever I was looking at other reviews, I've seen them talking about like 0.2 millimeters at like 200 millimeters a minute. So I don't know, these things are taking like 45 minutes to cut out. Now I'm going to show you the video of cutting out this piece over here. And this is going to be real time. And, it took, I think, like 6 minutes to cut this out. So I'm up here. Now this isn't my only one, but this was where I was cutting these little squares out. And every time I cut out the square, I would either change my depth of cut or the speed of my cut. And I had got these right up in here. I mean, these were coming out pretty good. I mean, they were almost perfect at 1,500 millimeters a minute speed. And I had slowly increased up to this last one here. And as you can see, it really doesn't have any burrs or anything on it. But that was at 500 or 0.5 millimeter depth. So it's like 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. So this was when I started at 1,500. However, though, after I thought, okay, well, that's going to be good, 1,500 millimeters a minute at 0.5 millimeters depth. I'm getting these great ones. But then I came over here and started running some of these circles, and you can see where it's starting to get some of those chips stuck to it. So definitely when I was just cutting the smaller pieces, my bit wasn't heating up as much as once I started running these big longer cuts. And whenever I was doing those big longer cuts, it was heating up, and that's where I was getting these burrs around the edge. And once you get those burrs, that means that your bit's getting hot, the aluminum's starting to melt, and you'll run it until it just snaps the bit. So it wasn't this one, but I was running some tests like this here. And the way you get your speed is you start with a rough setting, and then you keep increasing until you get to a proper cut. I was getting the chip welding, and that usually means you're going too slow. It's building up heat. And it would actually, on some of the parts, was going so slow that then it would bind up the bit. You'd have like the aluminum welded to the bit when you would stop until it would stick in there and snap the bit. So the way you fix that is by going faster. So I kept increasing the speed on the software, sending it over, and I spent hours doing this. And I finally, after about 2 days, was, instead of looking at the machine, was looking at the computer, and it actually shows on the screen the speed that the machine was running at. Even though I had it set at, 1,000, 2,000, I mean, I kept trying to increase it because it was, getting like the same results. And, so I kept trying to increase it. And then I realized that running these like 1 inch squares or 3/4 inch squares, that even though I had it set at say 2,400 millimeters a minute, it was not getting but to 1,000, 1,100 because of the acceleration. I went in and pulled the dollar sign 120, 121, and it was set at 20 millimeters a second cubed, which is extremely low. I don't understand why they have that set so low. I reset mine to, I think, like 100, 200, and then I was really able to get the machine to open up and run at, my 2,000 millimeters a minute, which is what the software has this machine limited at. On the website, it says it's 5,000 working speed. However, when you pull the firmware, you can look at it, and it's $110 and 111 is your X and Y max speed. Both of those are set to 2,000, so you can up it. But once I figured out the acceleration was what was really holding this machine back. And it's strange because this machine is so well built. It is a solid, a step above all these other little machines that are this size, with the double linear rails and the ball screws. I mean, this is all high quality, you know, the stuff that you find on your $4,000 machines, you know, on a $600-700 machine. This thing is made to where it can handle. And once I, you know, get through testing on this and actually start running on some, you know, just bigger parts that don't have little holes in them, I'll be running 1/4 inch bits, and I'll be able to really push this machine hard because it's so solid and well built. So I don't know why they have it limited in the firmware like they do. And so one thing on here, we've got 1 to 6. So, you know, you can get one of these handheld RPM gauges, and, you know, you can put a little sticker down there. Now, I found that about 3 was around the 18,000 RPM, which is kind of where you need to be at for one of these little machines like this. And I used dust extraction to suck out, because when you don't, one, you get shavings everywhere, but two, they will fill up inside of here and build up that heat. You want to get those out either with an air blower to blow them out, or for me, I just soon vacuum them out. Overall, like I've said many times on my channel, it's about the best value. There are a few machines out there, these little desktop CNCs, that are a little bit cheaper, but they don't have the quality components as this one does. I just did metal with this, because if it can do metal, it can do wood and plastic. So, you know, acrylics, doing wooden boxes, it has a 3-inch up and down movement. So you can actually get in there and make little platters and a lot of really neat things with this machine. So definitely check out the links below. And until next time, I hope everybody has a wonderful day.